Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Today we're going to be talking about Core Set 2021 and the Mage card pool. We're going to talk about what I think the best card is, what I think the most disappointing card is, and my honorable mention for the card that I'm most excited about. So let's get right to it. Best card in the set for me was a close call between Counterspell and Fireball, but I'm going to have to go with Fireball. Both of these cards have been around since launch. Both have seen a lot of play over the years from the beginning till currently in Standard and Wild. Counterspell is probably the most frustrating secret to play against. It can absolutely shut down your opponent's game plan, but Fireball is the most versatile card that Mage has, possibly that's ever been printed. It's been the centerpiece for burn mages, finishing off games by sending 6 damage to the face with 4 mana, possibly boosted by spell damage, and it's also been able to kill minions on the board in a pinch. So because it's been able to do board control and face damage, we've seen it see play in almost every iteration of Mage deck, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Fireball will probably remain the staple for Mage damage, and it's back in the core set, and I'd expect to see it find a lot of play. As for the most disappointing card in the core set, as much as I love the design of this card, I'm going to nominate Coldarra Drake. Coldarra Drake was originally printed in the Grand Tournament, allowing you to make your hero power usable as many times as you want during a turn. It was a 6/6 for 6 mana at the time. Now, as interesting as this card is, and the potential, if you ever get your hero power to cost 0, then you just immediately kill your opponent. So the potential that is pretty cool. The downside is your hero power doesn't cost 0 mana, it costs 2 mana. And in some previous best case scenarios, you could get it down to 1 mana, but then the Drake itself still costs 6, so you got to play it and then figure out how to get the hero power down and deal damage and get the guy to stick to the board so that you could deal lots of damage the next turn. Really clunky, really hard to make work. Raza the Chained makes your hero power cost 0, but that's a priest card, so there's pretty much no way to make this card go infinite, as enticing as it is. It got no play before, and now that it's got 1 extra health, I don't think that that's going to make it stick to the board long enough to get you to go crazy with it. So I think this will continue to be mothballed and not see any action, which is sad because it's kind of an exciting card. But the most exciting card in this set for me, even though it's just an honorable mention for me, is Aegwynn the Guardian. Aegwynn the Guardian is a 5/5 for 5 mana with 2 spell damage and a death rattle that transfers the spell damage and the death rattle to the next minion you draw. This is a really cool idea of a card. It basically means as long as you have a minion on the board that you've drawn after this guy, you're getting spell damage. So the potential of this is not in the card itself, but in the card you draw after. So Aegwynn's going to hit the table, it's going to get killed, hopefully not silenced when it dies, and then your next minion is going to get buffed. So if you think about buffing, say, a lab partner, which already has 1 spell damage and only costs 1 mana, you've got 3 spell damage on the board and potentially 9 mana open to use it. You can really ruin someone's day with that amount of mana and that amount of spell damage. So the design of this card is great, but the problem with it is it's just a little even more clunky than Coldarra Drake, because what if you draw it at the end of the game and there's no more minions in your deck? Well, then you're not getting any benefit from the death rattle. If it gets silenced, you get no benefit. If you don't draw another minion for 3 turns, you get no benefit. So there's a lot of ways where this card doesn't work the way you want it to. So because of that clunkiness, it's not going to go the best card in the set, but ceiling is really high with this guy. You could potentially see that card getting some crazy combos where with giving it Reborn in Wild, or putting it on an Imprisoned Phoenix so you can time exactly when you're going to get your huge Malagos style spell damage burst. So ceiling is pretty high. It almost seems like there's no reason not to play it, even if you can't get it to work, just because the potential is so high. But because of the clunkiness, maybe it won't find a place. What do you think is the best card in Mage Core Set 2021? What cards did I miss? Happy to have the discussion. Please leave some respectful comments below, and we'll talk more next time.